Hey everybody, Pan Bam Richard here. Welcome back to the Kirby 64 playthrough. In the last part, we've gone through Pop Star and have found our new recruits for our new party. Thankfully, this isn't a JRPG, so this won't be a very long playthrough. And this episode, we are going through Rockstar. Answer your outdated memes here. Okay, so, the thing that I was going to bring up before in the previous episode is that you can get a lot of crystal shards if you rely on the abilities that they provide you in the beginning of the stage, for the most part. So, in this level here, the two abilities that we'll be focusing on are two new ones. But the thing is that most of the time that I've noticed whenever you play through this game, the abilities that you require for the level are kind of limited in terms of resources for enemies. You'll see this very shortly, at least for one half of it. In this case, it's for stone. You can only get it in this area, and this does mean that throughout the rest of this level, we will be abusing the heck out of this ability and not use any others for the duration of this stage. So it's kind of unfortunate, but oh well. It's part of the challenge that I do like to put on myself sometimes, instead of getting out of the level and picking up the power-ups that I need, because it does complement the stage design of the stages in this game. So I do want to give the designers that much credibility in their design mindset. So first crystal shard is in this area where there are going to be a ton of Twomp-like enemies you'll see soon with the single eye gimmick like Krako. You're going to have to fly above them like any other sensible person would do and pick up your next crystal shard right there. Easy peasy. Keeping this in mind, I did look into a little bit more of Masahiro Sakurai's involvement with this game, and he didn't really direct this per se. He only just gave some creative input or something like that, and at the same time also provided his voice for King Dedede, for the grunts at least. We will be seeing that this episode there. By the way, that was just a second crystal shard that was also easy to get, just kill the mini-boss. But yeah, the last game that he did have involvement in the Kirby franchise is Kirby's Air Ride as a director. In Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, he just added his special input, but that was mostly done by Flagship's developers and whoever else helped out with that game. So, yeah, that was the last we've ever seen Masahiro Sakurai have direct involvement with the game, unless he had some involvement with Ultra Deluxe. That I would like to look into a little bit further, but yeah, that's enough about Sakurai. As much as we love his Smash Bros. Games, we have ourselves a little bit of an Indiana Jones trap here, which will lead us to our party member Waddle Dee helping us out here. So now you'll see where the whole abilities in the level gimmick helps. This is where the next crystal shard is. The color is brown and yellow, so you'll need stone, which we have, and the second half being spark. So we'll get to that soon. So thankfully we'll get rid of this rock power-up as well. We can use it to roll down slopes, which makes this a fun ride here. Although those Scarfies are following us there, I kind of want to kill them first before I do this here. Be careful with this though, because that Sparky will generate a bit of a barricade, so just wait until it finishes this animation. And make sure that it doesn't hop over your ability star if you try to make it collide into it. And we have Rock and Spark. This is the combination that I was referring to previously that is the most broken one in the entire game, in my opinion. Also, the opinion of Nintendo Power. So we'll need that to get the Crystal Shard here. Yeah, I think I remember the daycare that I went to when I was younger. They had a bunch of Nintendo Power magazines, and I read a lot of the comics there, including like the Star Fox ones, things like that. And they also have the player's guides. And Kirby 64... Actually, no, Kirby 64... I don't think they did have a player's guide there, but I remember specifically that the magazine was also recommending Spark and Stone. For obvious reasons. We're just going to get ourselves a maximum tomato here because we took a little bit of damage there, which is fine. That's all good. Next level here is also simple in terms of collecting the crystal shards. It is level 2 after all, so we're still in the beginning parts here. We don't need any particular ability from what I remember of this stage, they're just all in some pretty peculiar places. I think one of them, you get them from a mini-boss, I think. But we'll see what we can do from here. By the way, spoiler alert, this entire episode will feature this combination. Except for the boss fight, I think. I don't know if I'm going to stick with this combination or try out the other method, which is actually a lot faster. Subjectively, it depends on how skillful you are in inhaling and exhaling the projectiles that you encounter in that boss fight. But I'll explain more about that when the time comes. Keep dashing through here because they've placed stone enemies above each arc here. So just keep dashing, and then they'll have a hammer run towards you. Actually, no, I think we already passed that. Okay, so there were no crystal shards in that section, but there is one right up here. To those who are curious about the plot of this game, which I did kind of gloss over in the beginning because, to be honest, plots in a Kirby game, early Kirby games, they don't really mean much compared to the modern era, which I am referring to particularly, what's it called? Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Triple Deluxe, and Planet Robobot. But before I get into that, the Crystal Shard is right over here. You gotta fall down through here, and it's in between these two walls that you couldn't pass through normally, so you gotta go through the top to get it. But yeah, the plot of this game, you might remember from the introduction, we had a fairy by the name of Ribbon escaping with the Crystal Shards, or the main crystal, the source of power from the fairyland known as Ripple Star. By the way, the second Crystal Shard, as you notice, is down here. Be careful with your breath there, your oxygen. But yeah, she escaped Ripple Star with the crystal, the main source of power. Well, one of the main sources of power of Ripple Star. And essentially, the dark matter tried to take over Ripple Star to get that crystal and chased Ribbon the fairy down and broke the crystal shards into several the crystal into several shards. And that's what we're collecting with Ribbon, our pink little fairy friend that we only learned the name of at the end of last episode. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole shtick of this story. Though there will be more to it once we get to the end, like every other story does. But again, if you're expecting a story that's kind of like akin to character building like Klonoa, then you're not getting that in this Kirby game. Also, at the time of this recording, I am recording this on the 17-year anniversary when this game came out, so props to that. Again, like I said, I did first play this game when it came out on the N64 back in the year 2000, so 17 years. Will we ever get a return to the Dark Matter trilogy? I don't know. I mean, Nintendo, or whoever's developing the Kirby games right now, loves to tease it. Oh, by the way, here we go with the King Dedede mechanics of the game. So there are certain segments throughout the game where you get to control King Dedede, and the grunts that you hear whenever he gets damaged and whatnot, which I'll demonstrate shortly when I run into an enemy, are all voiced by Masahiro Sakurai. Pretty sure you guys will get that point by this point, because I've been saying that so many times, even though you haven't heard his voice yet, I think, throughout the playthrough so far. I don't think he even does any grunts during his boss fight that you have with him in Pop Star. Alright, so we'll get damaged by these Galbolts to just show how. Yep, there you go, he did a small little grunt over there. I don't know if they warped it, they probably did, but in any case, this is our next Crystal Shard right up there. You just gotta go through the top left of the level, easy peasy. Alright, and that's pretty much like a demonstration of King Dedede's skills here in this game. You'll be seeing more of this. I think it happens maybe a total of 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 3 times. The last time that we do it is probably one of my least favorite moments of going through with such a huge hitbox. But here we go with stage 3. So we're keeping Bomb Spark because there is a barricade here that we can break with any stone power-up. So any combination that contains stone, we can gain access to the Crystal Shard at the very beginning. It's a very easy Crystal Shard to get. Again, in terms of crypticness of the Crystal Shard locations, they're not really that bad. there's only a select few that I will be pointing out once we get to those points. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm very positive that the magazine that I read in at daycare was the player's guide for Kirby 64, because they constantly kept referencing the Rock Spark combination for boss fights, because it's safe and it's ranged. But I didn't read that magazine until after I got 100%. I only read it because I was bored. So we have to head to the left here because a Crystal Shard is nearby. Really, I'm kind of a reckless player when it comes to Kirby games because damage is really inconsequential. You could restore health easily in this game, and you have to go through the left pit in order to get the Crystal Shard. If you go through the right pit, you'll be on the other plane there, and you would not be able to get the Crystal Shard, so you have to restart the level. And now we're going to demonstrate some fun mechanics soon. I'm pretty sure everybody's favorite mechanics whenever they play a platformer. Look at all this water. A little bit of a hint for you, but right now we're just going to go through all these small little pit traps there. You can't kill those pincer-like enemies there. And yeah, in case you haven't guessed, it's going to be a lot of swimming. Fun. One thing that I did like to do in this level, which I'm not doing because I'm keeping the stone and electricity combination, is that you could get Cutter and Ice in this level, and that combination allows Kirby to be a figure skater, essentially. And I remember growing up, I watched a lot of figure skating, because that was something that my parents would watch several times too, so... Considering how relevant figure skating is now due to some recent animes, I'm kind of like, huh, interesting to see some gifs of some familiar skaters or familiar moves and whatnot. But yeah, the most that Kirby can do with the Cutter and Ice combination, if I'll ever showcase that in this playthrough, is just like a triple... They're just axles, like an axle, a double axle, quadruple axle. Quadruple axles are like unbelievably hard to perform as a figure skater. Speaking from an observer's point of view. But yes, the first part of this swimming section you have to like go down, which is easy, while avoiding all these fish bones. The name of the enemies that fire these arrows at you. Now you're swimming upwards, while there's a stream pushing down you, as well with these barricades that don't damage you. They just push you down to your death unless you avoid it. But don't follow the stars here, because our final Crystal Shard is all the way to the top. You'll see the biggest barricade that you'll see in this section. Let that fall down to grab your last Crystal Shard of this stage. Fun, fun times. So these info cards I will be talking about in another episode. To be honest, they're just random collectibles. If you just want to know much about that, but there isn't really anything else to those items. But we do need this bomb power-up. The unfortunate thing when it comes to combining power-ups is that you can't remove just one. You have to remove both of them. So we will be needing bomb and we will be needing spark for this stage. I remembered my initial playthrough of this game. I'm pretty sure everybody else's initial playthrough of this game, they never realized that they needed the combination of bomb and spark, because they would always stick with just whatever ability that they'd have. Which again, I would like to compliment the game design of this title here, is that they do give you the abilities that you do need for most of the combination barricades that you need to break in order to gain access to the Crystal Shard. So yeah, apparently we're in some kind of random unidentified flying object here, or floating object from the sand. Normally you'd think there'd be an oasis in a desert-like aesthetic, but Kirby likes to change it up a bit with some random UFO out of nowhere. So I hate this part, because like whenever I would go through this part, I would always die. You obviously see these moving barricades, different colors, move back and forth. You can get crushed, and I swear, every single time I play through this level, I almost always get crushed, and I would have to restart it again because you lose the ability when you lose a life. So I always get, like, nervous whenever I'm around this area, but I think we'll do fine here. Yes, alright, cool. So, we'll need bomb and spark. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. That was slightly frightening there. It's kind of vindictive or indicative of how Kirby's hitbox is when he starts floating, so you really gotta be careful about that. So, yeah, Bomb and Spark creates... It turns Kirby into a light bulb, which is very much a very bad attack, but we need it here to show off what Adeline painted here, which is Cloud, Tree, and Moon. We'll need to remember that sequence for when we get here. Every time you start the level, the sequence is always randomized, which is why you need to have this ability each time you go to the stage to get the Crystal Shard. So that's Cloud, Tree, and Moon. It kind of makes you wonder, like, how did Adeline get here in the first place? Why? Okay, if I'm going to keep pointing out plot holes in the Kirby game, then I'm going to be here all day, so... but that's all we need this power up for, so I'll get rid of it shortly. This place also gets on my nerves, too, because... I remember getting crushed here one time as a kid, and I became even more cautious of this level, like, since that day, so... I think I am gonna get the double spark. This is also to demonstrate what happens when you get like double monotone abilities. Two abilities of the same type combined, they become like a bigger version of it. So, I mean, you already saw that with the double cutter, but thought I'd demonstrate that with the double spark as well, because I'm pretty sure... Oh yeah, you could get crushed here! I got crushed here one time when I was a kid. It annoyed the hell out of me. But anyway, we'll get rid of this boss here to get our final Crystal Shard for the level. Easy peasy. Besides that light bulb puzzle, this stage doesn't really get too extensive in terms of power-ups that you need to get the Crystal Shards. It's not until level 3, the next level that we'll be going to after this, yes, where it starts to get pretty extensive. So you want to float up there, because if you use those poles to climb, you'll get damaged by those enemies. Electric shocked, in other words. So, yeah. Again, I don't really care much about the info cards. They're just there for collection's sake. I did 100% the entire cartridge version of the game that I have, including the, what's it called? The info card. So I don't plan on getting 100% on it again, because it's completely RNG based on what kind of cards you get. Because you can get duplicates, and that model would not make a return until Kirby's Triple Deluxe, and they realized that was pretty bad, so they gave you some more hints to get the stickers or whatever in the Planet Robobot. I don't know what I was thinking, I was trying to outrun that. But yeah, the first phase of this boss, by the way, this boss is named Pix, will be just a survival gauntlet of 3 different phases. You can't damage the boss during this time, but you'll see the boss appear in its form. The key to this boss fight is to, once we get to phase 2, is to damage these 3 separate cores, because they all have their own individual health bars, indicated by 1 full health bar here. So they all share essentially thirds of the health bar here at the bottom. This boss wouldn't really make a comeback until they made a reference to it in the Kirby's Planet Robobot. It was a nice little callback, and it became the... Oh, jeez! I thought you were gonna be spitting out some missiles. But yeah, yeah, Pix never made a comeback until they referenced it in as a boss in Planet Robobot, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, I am sticking with the ability for this boss fight. With that in mind as well, oh gosh, it's doing this thing again. Okay, this is actually kind of dangerous. Okay, screw it, I'm gonna stick with the inhale strategy. Wow, that was really bad. That happened. Okay, that was pretty bad. Alright. Okay, sorry about that again. Apparently, like, for those of you guys who do know me in my streams, my devices like to perform nasty hiccups and technical difficulties. And it seems to not escape me during my playthroughs as well. So I had to restart my capture card just for the final segment there. But as I was saying before, I feel like it's a much safer strat to just hit them all, besides using the Stone Spark combination, which is obvious, but just hit the enemies by the inhale-exhale strategy. I don't know why I have this terrible luck with my recording devices, but these cutscenes are very cute. After the first level, they are just sort of like, you know, by the books, but these small little cutscenes after the first level at the end of each planet is very humorous and cute, and you know, has that Kirby little charm to it. So apparently Adeline can paint like a ton of food, like it all comes to life. Talk about why she didn't think about that before. Maybe it requires some kind of like magic or mana to it, but whatever. Trying to explain logic in a Nintendo or Kirby game is not a healthy life choice. So yeah, we are now done Rockstar, and we are now moving on to level 3, Aquastar. So that'll be for the next episode. So until next time, take care.